Urinary system, chapter 6. If I can get myself situated. All right, here we go. This image should be in your textbook. So the urinary system consists of kidneys, urinary bladder, ureters, and urethra. Your body has 2 kidneys which filter blood from the waste, or waste from the blood. There you go. 2 ureters which transport the urine from the kidneys into the urinary bladder. 1 urinary bladder which holds urine prior to excretion. Remember, we know excretion, that's the removal of outward, right? Let's see, the urethra transports urine to the outside the body. The process of removing metabolic waste is called excretion as well. This is the essential process for maintaining homeostasis. So remember, our body is kind of like its own biome, so we've got to keep it running well. Metabolic waste includes carbon dioxide, excess water and electrolytes, nitrogenous compounds, protein breakdown, and urea. The waste, if not eliminated, can poison the whole body, as you might be able to imagine. All right, so here we're going to identify and define the suffix of each term. So we have nitrogenous. Anybody want to tell me what they think that suffix might be and what it might mean? If you don't know, let me know. Containing nitrogen, we're looking for the suffix. So if we took it and broke it down, nitrogen is what we're talking about. So that gen is actually a part of that. So nitro, let me see if I can break this down for us. So nitro, right here is where we have a split, and gen is where we have a split. So OUS is our suffix, meaning up pertaining to. So it would be pertaining to nitro. We're talking about that. Gen as in it's generating. Does that make sense? Sweet. All right, now what about renal? How would we break that down? Yes, yes, very good. So ren, R-E-N, is our word root because it's a word root for kidney. All is our pertaining to, right? Yeah. So you guys are all correct. I love the way someone even started with the suffix and then went with the word root. Beautiful. Urinary, what do we got there? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Yes. So urine is our word root, and then airy, which would be -ary, but I got you. Yes, means pertaining to as well. We're pertaining to the urine. All right, now let's look at nephrectomy and renal and see if we can find out the word root there. Excuse me. Nephro, that's a combining form. We're looking for a word root. Nepher, very good. So ectomy would be our suffix for surgical removal. Nepher is our word root for, anybody know what that one is for? Kidney, you got it. What about renal? How would we break that one down? Yep, ren, exactly, is for kidney. And then all is our pertaining to suffix. So very good. So notice in this specific example, we have 2 different word roots that both mean kidney. Now, I don't know if you remember, but in the past I said if there's ever 2 word roots for a singular organ or part, it's usually because one is used for diagnostic and the other one is used for anatomic location. So if you think about it, nephrectomy, that's what we're using for, obviously, in that specific term, we're surgically removing something. So we're doing a diagnostic procedure, okay? Now, renal, like suprarenal, I know we've heard of before, that's above the kidneys. So we're using that for anatomic location. Compare the following specialties. So let's look at nephrologist versus a urologist. What do you think the difference is? If we take those word roots, it should probably tell us. We know nephro means what? Super quiet. The one who studies kidneys. Okay, so that's what a nephrologist is. So that's one who studies kidneys. What about urologist? The urinary bladder. There we go. The urinary system would work too. So we're talking about all of it. Very good. Look at you guys rocking it on this Monday. All right. Let me see if I can get it changed. This should also be in your book as well. So here you will see the renal papilla. Understand? Renal medulla. Renal cortex it's kind of hard to see. It's this part right around here. It kind of runs into the other line. And then renal capsule, so that would be the outside membrane-ish stuff. Calyx is this area right here. With you also have what's called the renal pelvis, and this is technically where everything kind of comes in together. That's your renal pelvis. So keep in mind you have more than one pelvis. All right, renal artery, it's the red one, and then we have our renal vein, which is the blue, which is deoxygenated blood. Red is oxygenated blood. This is all called the hilum. And then your ureter is this tube down here. Now this is what carries the urine to your bladder from your kidneys after it's been filtered. Functions of the kidneys. So the kidney is responsible for filtering the blood of excess water, waste, which become urine. The kidney also regulates blood volume by eliminating or conserving water as needed. So if you think about it, that's what creates our blood pressure, right? So if we don't have a lot of fluid in there, we're going to have a lower blood pressure. If we have too much fluid, we're going to have a higher blood pressure. Kidneys maintain hemostasis by homeostasis. Why did I say hemo? Hemo is blood. It's another hemo. But anyway, homeostasis by controlling how much water and electrolytes are eliminated. The kidneys secrete renin, which is responsible for maintaining blood pressure. The kidney secretes erythropoietin, which regulate production of red blood cells. Remember, urethro is one of our words for red, and it's a blood word part. The kidney synthesizes vitamin D, which helps maintain normal blood calcium levels. All right, another anatomy of the nephron. This is also in your book. The nephron consists of a glomerulus, Bowman capsule, loop of Henle, and collecting ducts. I'm going to use this part right here to form, let's see, the kidneys form 45 gallons of filtration each day. What is filtered? We know that water, urea, glucose, electrolytes, amino acids, anything that enters the kidney as part of blood. As it filters down the renal tube, over 90% of water is returned back to the body by reabsorption. Remember, most of the time we're losing fluids through sweat. We are losing some through urine, but for the most part, it's waste. Let's see. I think we should be good on that. Does anybody have any questions on this part? Can you see the differentiation in this image of how we have our oxygenated blood and where all it goes, and then how the deoxygenation happens and it's returned back to the heart for oxygenation? I mean, we'll get there, but I just want to make sure. All right, so change the following terms into plural form and define them. So I am going to urge you to open your books if you have them, so we can follow along. I'm even going to get mine out for you. We'll see. And so we're going to look at calyx. Anybody? Yep. Shannon's like, I'm on it. Actually, it's calyx. There we go. Sorry, it's one of those days. Cortex. Right. So this one would be like thorax, thoraces. Exactly. Cortex, cortices. Glomerulus. SI. So kind of like fungus, fungi. It's that same rule. What about a hilum? Hyla. Very good. And I believe that was on page 149 in your textbook. I just want to give you guys an area to reference if you need it. All right, urinary bladder and urethra. So the urinary bladder is located on the floor of the pelvic cavity. I know we've talked about that area before. The urethra extends from the inferior aspect of the bladder to the outside. So this is what connects, helps us for elimination. The urinary bladder is hollow muscular organ. The urethra is hollow tube that varies from 1.5 inch up to 8 inches, depending on the gender. The urinary bladder stores urine prior to excretion. So again, this is like our holding, I don't know why I was going to say holding cell. This isn't jail, but you know what I mean. It's our holding area, containment area. The urethra, again, transports urinary bladder to the outside. Micturition is the process of releasing urine from the bladder. This is possible when two sphincters, remember we talked about how many sphincters we have? We got a lot, right? But it's possible when the two sphincters in the base of the bladder relax. Yes, over 50. It's so crazy. I think there's like about 60, between 50 and 60. Let's see. It's possible when the two sphincters in the base of the bladder relax. So urinary bladder stores approximately 200 ml or 7 ounces, 7 shot glasses worth. There you go. Prior to micturition, urine exits the urethra via the external urinary meatus, or meatus, there we go. The figure here illustrates the location of the urinary bladder, urethra, internal and external sphincters, and the urinary meatus. There we go. So that's where we're talking about. So this is a male, obviously, I would hope. And here's your female. So there's what they mean by the differentiation in the length of the urethra to the outside of the body. Good. I got one okay. And you can see the ureters, how they go down into it. The way they have this blocked off kind of looks like a little alien. And ain't that cute? There we go. And as you can see on the male, how we have the prostate gland right around this. This is why they check for it, because enlargement can actually hinder the ability to completely empty the urinary bladder. So men, that's why we like to make sure that you're in good health. Don't want to have any issues. All right, meatus is the external opening of a passage. Sphincter, we've talked about that, is a band of muscle that encircles an opening. Micturition, urination, and void all mean to expel urination via the urethra, obviously. So all three of those are essentially the same thing, just worded differently. We good?